I'm a man without conviction. I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. You come and go. You come and go. Karma, 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 chameleon. Bound by their harrowing destinies, a physician plagued by nightmares, a man shaken after his world was unexpectedly disrupted, and a debtor drowning in private loans become caught in an unbreakable karmic loop, each bound by reckless choices that spiral out of control. If you took the movie Crash, the 2004 version, not that James Spader version, and then smash it with a bit of Pulp Fiction, you'd get the South Korean Netlfix series Karma. Basically, it's an overlapping cautionary tale about what can happen when you take advantage of others or think that you've gotten away with something. As Roan says in 13 Hours, payback's a bitch and her stripper name is Karma. This is 6-hour-ish long episodes that aren't always shown to us in chronological order, or even in a straightforward, cohesive narrative. The story typically sticks with a central character for an episode, but we also get some confusing ordering that we do have to work just a bit to figure out the ties and the sequences, at least for the first couple of episodes. Now, for probably those first 3 eps, there's not much overlap that's shown between the stories. And it's not completely devoid of connection, but it's also not overt. As the show goes along, the complexity grows so that this becomes a very twisted tale, that it's a sort of sadistic line of dominoes. And it's not important where the cycle begins, but what we watch play out is darkly comedic and gross from a human decency standpoint. Now, it took a couple of beats for me to get engaged with the characters, mainly because I was watching strangers get themselves into negative situations without knowing why. Me not knowing why, the characters knew exactly what they were doing. But once I got the rhythm of the storytelling, I was absolutely hooked. It becomes a train wreck and a car crash and a building collapse, all while a flaming parade afloat ignites everything around it. I mean, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen because as each element is revealed, the story becomes more twisted and perverse in its character revelations. Now, the writing is clever and smart, building complicated arcs that intersect at key moments to accentuate a surprise or horrific idea. And while most of the characters we see, they're not very sympathetic or likable, this isn't completely lacking endearing players. But they're certainly in the minority. And while it sounds like this could make the show harder to engage with, it actually makes it even easier because the more I learned about the poor decisions and motives of these characters, the more I wanted terrible things to happen to them. And the show has the patience to tease us and delay that sort of gratification for as long as possible. I mean, even when it seems as if a bad person is going to get their comeuppance, the show can withhold that payoff until it's ready, ignoring our wants. I mean, the expectancy this builds, it's wonderfully frustrating. And because we watch events play out from different angles, the show does run the risk of repeating portions too often. I appreciate how the interpretation changes depending on whose perspective we're receiving, especially because it then makes the truth questionable. And then because we're dealing with mostly sketchy people, even what we're shown may not be entirely accurate. While I don't think the sequences are overly repetitive, there were a couple of times where I was wishing the story would just move a bit more quickly through a scene because we've already watched it and it wasn't providing any new take. I like that the series keeps introducing twists to the storyline, right up until the end. Just when you think you've learned all about a character or their actions, the arc will give us more context, or make another connection within the intricate threads that turn the show on its head once again. Now, I enjoyed how the story taunts us through pursuits and double crosses, building an almost Rube Goldberg sort of storytelling device contraption that eventually leads to an unexpected but satisfying payoff. And when these resolutions arrived, they were typically completed with some savage brutality, allowing the series to showcase wicked stabby action and awesome blood spurts. And I was a little surprised at how visceral some of the violence was, but it's done in a captivating and entertaining way that looks great. The practical effects and the makeup, it really sells the gore, and it appears that there is very little CGI employed, allowing for some stunt work that looks absolutely painful, but is captured so that we can feel the violence erupting. Now, one of the common themes that seem to run through just about every South Korean thriller or drama is the idea of bullying. We see it in the various forms here, too, from high school teenagers to full-grown adults. I mean, the series illustrates for us how it's not a behavior that's saved only for the young, but if not dealt with, the actions continue well into adulthood. Now, the great thing is that with this series, karma comes back around and delivers the slap the bullies need to ensure that they don't ever act that way again. I had a lot of fun with this series. The complex and convoluted storylines add a lot of depth and intrigue, leading to multiple twists and unforeseen connections. The storytelling can sometimes be a little difficult to follow, especially as complications with identity come into play, but thanks to flashbacks and revealing conversations, we're provided with sufficient character development to solidly know and understand the characters. This isn't always an easy watch, especially with the large amount of scheming from sketchy individuals, but the reward of the story shows that while it may not be swift or exactly how we desire, karma will always come back and even the score. There's a little sex, no nudity, ton of profanity, and a bunch of violence. I give Karma 4 out of 5 couches. This was surprisingly engaging, despite the darkness of the story. Alright, do you have any favorite South Korean shows or films? You can't say Squid Game or Train to Busan. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.